Okay. I'd like to call reconvene from open session the City Council meeting Monday, August 13th at 7:05 p.m. Sorry we're running a little late. We've had a meeting from 3:30 to almost 6 o'clock, and then closed session ran over because of that. With that said, may I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Coops.
Here.
Councilmember Schnablecker. Mayor Pro Tem Santinas.
Here.
Councilmember Garza.
Here.
Mayor Dutton.
Here. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absence of Councilmember Schnableger.
Second. Let the record reflect without objection that'll be the order. And with that, we've left closed session and there was no reportable action. And can I have everybody rise for the invocation led by Mayor Pro Tem Sonny Santa Ynez and our Pledge of Allegiance by Jim DeLonga, our Director of Economic Development.
Let's bow our head in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your goodness. We recognize your presence among us tonight. We thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for the gift of life, the gift of family, and the gift of community. We thank you for giving us wonderful staff to work in the city. We thank you for giving us our military and first responders to protect us. As we gather tonight to discuss the business of the city of Bellflower, please guide us, please enlighten us, and give us the wisdom to decide what is best for the city. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please face the flag, put your right hand over your heart, and begin with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. The city is exploring options to alleviate the impacted parking conditions in our downtown area. This week, a new temporary signage will be installed to let the public know that there will be 2 trial periods offering valet parking service in the parking lot adjacent to the Town Center Plaza. That is between Belmont Street and Oak Street on the east side of the Bellflower Boulevard. The first trial period is for Thursday, August 23rd to Sunday, August 26th. And the second trial period is scheduled for Thursday, August 30th through Sunday, September 2nd. The valet is $5 for 4 hours and $1 for every hour after that. More details about the temporary valet can be found on the city's website at www.bellflower.org. Mayor Pro Tem Sonny Santa Ynez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control District confirmed West Nile virus in a sample of mosquitoes collected from Panorama City. This is the first confirmation of West Nile virus activity in the district service area this year. While this is the first confirmation, it should serve as a strong reminder that mosquitoes throughout much of LA County are active. They be carrying West Nile virus and can infect people if they bite. Eliminating mosquitoes from properties is very important. Any water left standing for more than a week in containers such as rain barrels, fountains, buckets, and poorly maintained swimming pools and spas provide the perfect breeding habitat for mosquitoes. So please check your backyard, your side yard for any standing water in containers, used tires, and things like that. So if there's any standing water, please keep them dry. West Nile virus is transmitted to people and animals through the bite of an infected mosquito. For more information about West Nile virus, please contact the Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control Unit at 562-944-9656 or online at www.glacvcd.org. That's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Sonny Santa Ynez. Councilmember Coops.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sonny, I always enjoy your vector control contribution because you live and die mosquitoes.
I hope live, not die.
You're right. He knows that stuff. He enjoys it. But he's our representative, has been for several years, and he brings to us all the information to try to keep us healthy.
Thank you.
Anyway, tomorrow, Tuesday, August 14th, from 6 to 9, there will be a free small business workshop hosted here at City Hall up on the second floor. Mark Raymond, a seasoned executive with deep marketing and technical expertise, will be presenting. Come dive in and learn what it takes to build and run a successful e-commerce site on WordPress. Topics include website design, security and credit card programs, purchasing, processing, shopping carts, search engine optimization, social media, and much more. Please register at www.score114.org. We're looking forward to having a strong turnout. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Coops. Councilman Juan Garza.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Central Basin Municipal Water District is excited to announce a new landscape transformation program in partnership with the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. The program will provide incentives to homeowners and businesses who are seeking to redesign their yards into water-efficient landscapes. This is in addition to the district's assortment of rebate incentives on water-saving devices, all of which can be accessed via the Central Basin website at www.centralbasin.org. Through these programs, residents and businesses have received more than $400,000 of rebate incentives during this past fiscal year of 2017 to 2018. For more information on the rebates and other district programs, please visit www.centralbasin.org. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Okay, we have a presentation tonight for Liberty Utilities, and the presentation by Allison Valle. She's Program Manager of Communications and Media Relations for Liberty Mutual, which is the company that's in the process of buying the Bellflower. Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
They're building a new well.
They're the ones that Prior Park water. Yeah, there we go, yeah. The new water well, yeah. Almost blew that, didn't I?
That's okay. I think you did very well.
Okay.
As long as you have cash, you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you guys for having me. I can begin, right? Is that how this works?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Please. My name is Allison Vai, and I'm like you said, I'm the Communications Program Manager with Liberty Utilities. This over here is Gabriel Gomez. He's a Production Supervisor with Liberty Utilities and will be available for questions later. The purpose of this presentation is to give you all an overview of who we are, what we do, and the improvements that we've made in your city. We have enjoyed a working relationship with the city of Bellflower for over 72 years. First as Park Water in 1976, and now as Liberty Utilities since 2016. Both Gabriel and I are still fairly new to Liberty Utilities, but we do know our working relationship with Bellflower has been positive since we have worked here and far before our tenure. In addition to Bellflower, we serve portions of the cities of Artesia, Compton, Linwood, Norwalk, and Santa Fe Springs. We also have a system in Apple Valley. In your packet, I handed out to you guys your folders. We have included more details about Liberty Utilities. We operate water, wastewater, natural gas, and electric regulated utilities across the United States. But for this presentation, I'm just going to share the details about your city, the city of Bellflower. So here is a map of your city. The light blue area is the city of Bellflower that I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with. And this light blue around here is our system. So right in this area here is the area that we serve in Bellflower, the light blue part, which is about 30% of Bellflower. And you guys will have a link to this presentation. We're going to make it public. But if you click on any of the areas, it'll also show you who those water purveyors are. we have that link online too, where you can type in your address, and it'll show you who your water provider is. Even if it's not Liberty Utilities, the system will let you know. And I just wanted to point this out just at the beginning of the presentation. So here, this is our system. So any improvements along this system here will actually benefit the residents in Bellflower. But on this presentation, just for time's sake, I'll concentrate on just what we've done in your city. Little timer of death. If we have to skip over that portion, we can. Okay. Well, that's a video that I don't know if it's going to play. It seems like it's not. So I think we'll just skip over that. I will send a link to the video. What the video is about 4 minutes long, and it shows just gives an overview of who we are. It has some interviews from our employees. So I'll send you guys a link so you can see it. The Liberty Utilities team earned a combined, hold on, I gotta see where I'm at now. Okay. So, we deliver safe and reliable water every day. This happens because of our experienced staff dedicated to providing your quality water service. The Liberty Utilities team earned a combined total of 47 state certificates, as you see in this graphic here. These credentials help us achieve our goal of providing customers with the highest level of quality, dependable water service. In addition to our operators, we also have a team of professional engineers on staff. Oh. This one's very important. This. Stopped.
Reboot.
Now it doesn't want to play at all.
Oh, it's okay if we can go to 5, that'd be good.
Want me to move on to public comments while they're fixing that? There you go. Yeah, you mind if I work?
Oh, yeah.
I can
We got public
do some
comments
business while you're trying to get that going. Mr. Stewart.
All right, this is the time now set aside for the public to address the city council or successor agency on matters not listed on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the city council should come to the podium, be recognized by the mayor, and state your name for the record. If you wish to address the city council on an agenda item, you may do so by approaching the podium as we review that particular item. You'll be given a reasonable amount of time to address the city council.
Okay, this is our public comment section for items that are not on the agenda. And when you come up, I just need you to state your name and then write your name and address down on the board there. There should be a pen and a paper there. And you just need to talk into the mic because everything's recorded for the minutes.
Hi, my name is Jerome Green. I hope you guys are having a great evening tonight. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicole Reeves.
Carlton Capiti.
Pardon me, what was your name?
Carlton Capiti.
Carlton? Okay, thank you. I want to write it down in case I have to interact. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm here today to come in front of you very humble with a great concern. That took place yesterday with my son, my youngest son, Jerron Green, with the sheriff of Bellflower. We're new residents, or I should say they are new residents of Bellflower. They stay 2 apartment buildings down from the fire station.
Which one? Flower Street or?
Bellflower Boulevard.
Bellflower Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. That gives us an idea.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've had the honor of being in your presence in a more enlightful environment. I've attended several Kiwanis auctions, even the main event grand opening. I've had the pleasure of meeting with Juan Garza and his family. And I'm just concerned for my kids' safety. The way that they were treated yesterday, especially Jerron by the sheriffs, was very unhumane, very unethical, and very unprofessional. And I would like for you guys to hear my son so he can explain to you in detail what happened. We did have the honor and pleasure of meeting with Mr. Joe Hockman earlier today to give him an opportunity to assist us and to address the issue. And we do have faith in Mr. Hockman that he will address it and look into it, but we did, as our mayor and council members, wanted to share with you exactly what took place.
Okay.
Yes.
Yesterday, Sunday afternoon, around 4 o'clock, I was traveling eastbound on Rosecrans, and I made a right going southbound. And as I made the right, I immediately merged to the left lane due to the fact that it was a heavy traffic flow right there where the Starbucks is. So once I did that, as well as we addressed that, we stay 2 blocks down right from the fire station as well. So I have to as well prepare to make a left turn because so much traffic. And when I made the right turn going southbound, I was pulled over by a police officer, Officer Ferguson, I believe. He pulled me over and asked me for my identification, my driver's license. He didn't ask me for my insurance or my registration. I asked him what I was being pulled over for, and he let me know that he would let me know that, but he just wanted to see my ID. And I began to still ask him because I was concerned on what I did wrong because I wasn't aware of what I did. So I kept asking him, would you let me give me the opportunity to know why I was getting pulled over? And we kind of went back and forth about that, but not too long, very briefly. And as well after that, he tried to open my door on the driver's side, telling me to get out the vehicle. And in fear, in natural reaction, I closed my door back and locked it. And I asked him, like, what was his probable cause of trying to open the door and detain me? And he didn't let me know. He still let me know that he would eventually tell me. And at that moment, I asked for a supervisor to come. And eventually, once he radioed in for backup and stuff, my girlfriend was with me, and she just as well just let me know to tell me to go ahead and step out the car. So I did so, and I stepped out the car, and he put me in the back of the vehicle. And still at that time, he never let me know what was going on, as well showed him that I had my driver's license. And by that time, there's already 6, 7 vehicles coming, approaching my vehicle. The sheriff began going through an investigation, going through my car. I still let them know that I want to speak to the supervisor, and they had no probable cause to go through my vehicle. And during that time, they found my baton that was in the trunk of my car, and I as well have permits and permits for my baton and everything that I do have. And in the middle of that, they still didn't let me know that what was going on, and the whole time I'm still asking for a supervisor to see what's going on during this whole time. And during that whole time, they still continue with their investigation, and in the middle, I guess they were already writing up the booking fee or whatever the case may be. and the officer came to me and told me that I was going to be arrested, and still at that time never let me know what I was going to be arrested for. So I was very confused, and the whole time the supervisor, they were on site and scene, and I'm asking to still speak with them. And just during the whole time, I really felt like kind of like harassed, and they was like kind of taunting me and like saying little things and making fun of my security badge, because I do work in the city of Bellflower at Calaveras, and I actually do enjoy the city of Bellflower, so I partially, part of the reason why I moved here as well. So I was just kind of really concerned as far as my safety goes and things like that, because yes, as well, I do work for the courts and counties with Inglewood and also Long Beach. So I'm very familiar with the sheriff's department and how things work. So I do have respect for the law, and I do just come to you guys with concern and hoping that you guys can help.
Were you eventually released?
Yes, I was, sir.
I had to bail them out.
Oh, you were arrested?
Yes, sir.
You were arrested, okay.
Yes, sir.
What were the charges? If you may.
Once I finally got to the station, or in the middle of going to the station, they let me know that they were arresting me for making it, I guess, an illegal turn, that I was supposed to stay in the right lane once I made the right off of Rosecrans, going on to Bellflower. They told me that I was supposed to stay in the lane, but due to the fact, like I addressed in the beginning, that it was very heavy traffic right there due to the Starbucks and the Wingstop. I know some other things.
Did they think you were reckless driving? Because that's about the only arrestable offense. It's an infraction.
And again, sir, he never gave me the opportunity or never let me know that. And during that whole time when he arrested me, he never read me my Miranda rights.
Like, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And get my car off the impound. I spoke to Mr. Jerry
Troutman?
this morning. Yes, yes.
Really? Yeah. But Joel's got it already.
And I just want to let you guys know they kept all his permits, so he can't work without them. They took his permits out the car, and
So I guess you have a court date still?
Yes.
They didn't drop charges or anything, huh?
No, sir.
And the court date is for,
well, because we bailed
The-
him out, it got pushed, back. So it's
well, I'm
September
guessing
26th.
the charges got to be more than just,
Well, the charges,
Yeah.
when I called the jailer yesterday, he told me that he was being charged for possession of a baton that was on his work belt that was in the trunk of the car.
gotcha, that he uses for his job,
Yes.
that he has a certain,
Question, the supervisor did show,
Yes, sir. But I never was.
he never talked to you?
No, sir.
They kept taunting him saying, well, she's the supervisor. No, I'm not, you're the supervisor. And then please share with them what they said.
Who was the supervisor's name, do you remember?
They never.
So
I only-
Ferguson, you believe, was the officer that pulled you over originally?
Yes, and I dealt with other officers, but they didn't give me an opportunity.
And this was
again.
between 4 and 4:20 yesterday, you think?
You're
somewhere?
right. Yeah,
Okay.
around that time.
All right.
And as well, my girl, I never knew this because I never had the opportunity to speak to my family when they were coming to see what was going on. So my girlfriend as well addressed to me that an officer, I'm not too sure of his name or badge number, but asked her why was she with, because my girlfriend's Latino. So he asked my girlfriend why was she with me, and that she shouldn't be for me, and that she would see in the long run why.
None of that sounds good. Well, we got some digging to do, guys.
on behalf of what we do up here in my city, I apologize. We got some looking to do.
I know better,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
know the city
yeah.
of Bellflower stands for, sir. And that's why I encourage my kids to move here for a fresh start outside of, South Central Los Angeles. They're employed with a business here in the city of Bellflower. He does, like I said, security at Calaveras as well as
Do you have their
with the
information?
courts and counties. So.
Joel, you don't have it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Cargo?
if I may?
Yes.
And I thank you for coming here and sharing your story with us. It's important that we are aware of these incidences. So with that, I wanted to ask Mr. Hockman that if you don't mind, not right now, but if you don't mind getting back to us with a report as to what it is that happened here. I'm not asking for that today,
Well, we're going to dig it.
but I would absolutely like to find out exactly what happened.
We'll report fully to the council.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Wow. I apologize again. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. And, yes, also, I was there at the incident. I was in the house when they actually arrested my brother.
So you were able to get kind of close to home where you could see what was going on? Or
They were directly outside of our
oh,
house.
directly outside your house?
They left the house 20 minutes prior to me leaving the house. So when I'm leaving out, I see 6 cop cars in front of my home. And I'm looking at the car, and I'm like, that's my brother's car. And I'm like, it cannot be his car. Why is that his car? So I'm getting out, and I pull over to the side, and I'm understandably upset and shaken up. And I'm saying, well, where's my brother at? Can I please get visuals of my brother, on my brother? And everybody is being dismissive towards me, telling me I need to back up, that the situation doesn't concern me. Then I see his girlfriend, who I consider my sister. She's been living with me for 3 years. She's my family. So I'm telling the officer, the same officer who told her why is he with her, why is he with my brother? Why is she with my brother? I asked him. I said, why is my sister in the back of his car? And he says, this is not your sister. I said, you don't know who that is to me. You don't know who the relation of this person is to me. Why is my sister in the back of this car? And he said, this is not your sister. This is not your sister. And he brushed me off. And then another cop came, pushed me back, and said, you need to get away from this scene. And I said, where's my brother at? This is my family. And everybody is pushing me back and dismissing me. So I get upset, and I say, somebody needs to tell me what the H is going on right now. And so it's when I'm starting to get irate, they're telling me, oh, well, then you need to back up or you're going to be arrested. So they're threatening me and harassing me now because I'm trying to see what's going on with my family.
So you witnessed everything, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
I came in the tail end, but still, even when I came, somebody who was just new to the scene, they were harassing and dismissive towards me. So it was a scary situation given the climate that we are in today. Seeing 6 cop cars in front of my home with my brother's girlfriend, who was 19 years old, was young, who was shaken up, who's never been in a situation like that before. She was boo-hoo crying when I came to the car, and they're dismissing me, and I don't even know where my brother is at. So it was a very scary situation. So, yeah. It's even hard to talk about now.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and you all did very well under those circumstances and coming up and sharing in front of everybody and TV cameras. How's Mom doing?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
And,
if you don't mind me saying,
yes,
Mr. Mayor,
Mr.
so
Hart.
you've heard, we've asked for a report. We will get a report as to what happened, and we'll follow up in whichever way we need to on this. So thank you so much for coming here today.
No problem. And I just want to share with the city that I did retain a lawyer for Jerron because he is really eager in looking into joining the law enforcement. And this is something that's just so unfortunate. And there is a sheriff from the Inglewood court system that has offered to mentor Jerron through the process and program. So, you know, it's very worrying for us.
Everything went wrong.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your evening to share with us the unfortunate
Thank you, sir.
situation. Okay.
Just put that
An item that's not on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, council. Recently, I went to the Metro Train scoping meeting, and what they're talking about is at grade level Metro train coming through Bellflower. And if that was to happen, I'd be highly concerned for the following reasons.
I think we're going to be talking, sorry to interrupt you, but I think we're going to be talking about that on the agenda.
Okay.
That's what I was getting at.
13D.
13B, yeah.
13B.
So you want me to
Yeah,
come
yeah,
back?
wait to 13B and then come
Okay.
up with that, and you can
Okay.
get more time there. Thank you. Not so. Now, anybody else want to come up for an item that's not on our agenda here tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is John McLuhan.
How's your traffic signal doing good over there, John?
I don't have no complaint.
That's why I knew it was safe to ask. I went for a sure thing.
That question. Well, I'm not here either for complaint today. I'm here requesting something from you, and I thank you for everything. Normally, in this city council, in this Bellflower, when CR&R show up, we used to receive a notice from you, from the city of Bellflower, that CR&R are gonna show up. If you have any comment, please show up. I used to come over here, and one time I was objected because it was a matter of small amount of money. To me, it's not a matter of small amount of money. It's a matter of even 25 cents, as we mentioned, they benefit more money than anybody I can expect. And I've seen things, and I heard things, and I can tell you things. The city of CR&R, I forced them by force. The truck person used to run around the city. I live in cul-de-sac, and in front of me there is a curve beside the house where I live. And I complained to them several times, clean up the area. So finally, what they used to do.
Are you talking about the street sweeper portion of CR&R?
CR&R.
But the street sweeper?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't know whether it was trash or street sweeping.
Yes.
They do both.
This one, the man used to sweep and leave some dirt. It's not in his hand, it's the brush. Whatever I did, I followed after them, and I told them, if you don't clean it up, I'm gonna go after you. Take my word for that. Finally, they changed the brush after 3 or 4 months complaining to them, stop doing that, letting the guy go down and clean up by himself. Change the brush. He's not made for you to do it. This time, this one is changed, totally done. I see the man going in the truck and cleaning, the area is clean. Well, we requested from you, let us meet with them because of the raise. I want to thank Mr. Stewart for calling them on my behalf. After I called them, the rate went up. And the lady that spoke to me over the phone, she did not act professional, period. But I didn't want to comment to anybody. It's not a place to comment for, but I'm requesting that when they come over here to talk about raise, it's not a matter of a raise of money. It's a matter of how much they benefit and how much can we lose the citizens of the city of Bellflower. The last time they told me they're gonna lower it down. I don't trust, because I asked her, please, can you send me your name and the receipt when you send it, because I couldn't hear your name very well. She said, I will. I never seen it. So for that reason, I called Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart handled it. I still don't believe they mean what they say, period. And that's the reason, if I see them over here and have from the city come and call me, I'm gonna talk to them personally. I'm gonna tell them, stop telling us stories behind our back. Because stories don't pay off the bill. And when we pay the money, it's not because of the money. It's a matter of how much they benefit, and we cannot benefit out of them, because we used, with the waste company, they used to come to our house, collect. We used to benefit from 2 areas. Now we benefit from 1 area. They used to put on the bill, recycling, certain amount of money. These are funded for you folks. We used to see the bill smaller than that. Now the bill is going up higher, and the recycling, we don't get anything out of it. And we hardly get anything from the compost that they give us. We hardly get anything. It's not going to benefit us too much, because Home Depot has much better compost than CR&R give. So please, we don't need them to take advantage of us for something very minor. A small penny still makes hundreds of dollars. Penny by penny to make $1. So I saw on the TV that how the people, how they call them, the people that collect the trash, they benefit out of our trash. They are making millions of dollars just from the trash that we are throwing away, beside the money they collect from us. So why are we going to get to the rich get richer and the poor get poorer for just a money minor thing? It's not a matter from my pocket. I don't care about the money. But I don't like anybody to take advantage. This is a matter of taking advantage of people. And most of the people cannot afford. I have spoke to one of my neighbors, can I understand? I see it in my own eyes. So did you call the city about it? I said, no. I don't want to bother. I said, I'm going to go to the city and talk to them personally. It's not a matter of money, how much you get out of pocket. It's minor things. But the benefit behind it is enormous, and we are losing money for nothing. We cannot expect them to take advantage of the public citizens of Bellflower. They are paying enough money for everything, and and I had another story before, but I fixed it. I had another story with the LA County. They are ripping us off like heck. And I spoke to them over the phone, and I came to Mr. Stewart about it. It's about the water and how do you use the water and how we benefit of the water. Honesty is honesty, put it in the middle like that. I spoke to them over the phone. None of them, 7 people, one of them told me call the city of Bellflower. I called the city of Bellflower, I didn't get the help. I paid the bill. I don't want to have my house taken away from my hand because I don't pay the bill. But what am I paying the bill for? What am I benefiting out of it? Why I have to pay for something I don't use or benefit out of it? And finally now I have a problem. I'm dealing with the state assemblywoman for the same thing what the county is doing. That is additional to the subject, but I'm talking right now. We ask you please, when CR&R come to you for raise or for anything, we'd like to see them. This time we paid them. I don't care about it. They said they're going to lower it. I don't know if they mean it or not. I trust Mr. Stewart. He spoke to them, but I like to see the change. If they don't, if they don't mean what they say, I'm behind it. I'm not trying to threaten, but I'm trying to talk in a polite, respectful manner. If something I don't benefit out of it, I'm not willing to pay for it. Thank you much for your time.
Thank you, John.
Couple of things. My bill for CR went up to $3. Is that just temporary? Because I know that thing. Because I know it's going
Yep.
down for residential,
Yep.
and they have to.
Yeah, it's paying
recover.
catch up. Yep.
And also, how's the custody assistant that got walked at Lakewood? What's that? Are they going to also be releasing the video? I know she got walked.
Yeah, I don't know the details on that. She was beaten pretty badly.
Yeah, I know.
They shot the perpetrator. I don't have any more details on that. There's still an open case on it, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
Good evening, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Mani. I'm the new franchisee for the Baskin Robbins with the Alondra and Woodruff.
Uh-huh.
I'm here to thank the city of Bellflower and the members, all the members who gave us the support. Saturday we had the grand opening. Mayor Pro Tem was there and some of the council members were there. They really supported us. A lot of people came to the...
Sorry I wasn't there. I was out of town, but I was raised to that Baskin Robbins. That's how long it's been there.
Yes, and we are from the city of Cerritos, but we started this business recently, me and my wife, but I was really honored that all the city of council members and visited and honored us with being with us for more than an hour and did the ribbon cutting and everything, and I'm ready to give any offers, and I hired some of the city of Bellflower students, high school students, trained them. Yeah. One of the requests I have is because these girls who work in the store are after 8 or 9, there are a lot of homeless people hanging around the shopping complex. So within a week or two, there were a couple of cakes they took and ran away when they were girls. So I have to come and stay with them till they close it. If city can take some action, there are a lot of people. So my donut shop owner told me it's happening often. And the pizza guy told me that there are 2 or 3 times there was a robbery. So there are people that, as you said, Baskin Robbins is a place for dessert and happy, and people come with their small kids. If you guys...
So you're noticing a transient problem there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joel, Mr. Hockman, did you get that? Okay, thank you.
So,
That's our head of public safety, so you could talk to him before.
Yeah, but I'm here to thank you for the city.
No, I got it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
And thank you for coming also, because I was there at the grand opening. And during the grand opening, there was a homeless guy who came into the store. I mean, so I saw it firsthand, so.
Personally in that.
Yeah, exactly, so.
Yeah, homeless people like ice cream.
Yeah, I know.
The girls are afraid. So. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm here to say something positive.
What you got?
This afternoon, I went on to the city website, and oh my goodness, you guys do such an amazing job. I gotta tell you, whoever put that new site together, you're fantastic. It is so beautiful, it is so great. It's got all kinds of information. I am very impressed. So I just wanted to let everybody know, go to the new city website, go to bellflower.org and check it out. And I also have a request. I have been
Yes.
going to some meetings at the event center, and they have been for the Metro,
MTA.
the
Or
Echo something.
Eco Rapid, MTA,
Eco-Rapid,
yeah.
yes, that's it.
Orange Line, they all
Anyway.
same. Yeah.
They're sitting around on a table. We cannot hear anything out there in the audience.
Ouch. Ouch.
We need to be
Thank you.
able
You made my
to
evening.
hear them.
You made my evening. We have a $10 million new building that you can't hear in it.
I was thinking about saying that, but I thought maybe I wouldn't.
It takes more than just us because we can't get, they don't believe us. They think we're hard of hearing. I guess.
Well, I thought,
It has some
if I put
design
it on
flaws, and we're
public
going to work on
record-
those.
If I put it on public record, then they have to believe you.
Thank you so much. You made my evening.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
You did.
You guys will make mine when you get that fixed.
It just so happens our Eco-Rapid representative just had a conversation with the city manager right before we
About
started
that,
this
so-
meeting at the same thing.
We're all of like minds, huh? So,
Yeah.
well, good, yeah, those three little microphones, those poor people, there's like 14 or 15 people in a horseshoe venue, and they're supposed to run around and hand a microphone to each other while they're trying to hold a meeting. That's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else want to complain about the acoustics in the main event center? See, we have 4 people over there, Mr. Manager. Look, they're raising their hand.
One over there.
Well, how about the website? Is the website good?
Yeah.
There you go,
A+,
all right.
okay.
So we need to balance it somehow.
There we go. I heard you walked out.
Yes, I did actually. Yeah, we were sitting over there, and a lady was walking around, and as she was going past me, I said, well, I can't hear anything they're saying. And she looked at me, and after a lengthy pause, she goes, they don't have any microphones up there. And I said, yeah, I noticed. And there was no, she gave me no indication that it was going to change. So at that point, I just got up and walked out. And it, like Anita said, it's a lovely state-of-the-art building, and they have a meeting, and they put chairs up for people to sit in, and then they make no accommodations for them to be able to hear what's being said. There weren't even 1 or 2 or 3 hand mics, I don't believe. I don't think there were any mics at all.
They came later.
They, from what Anita told me after I left, they did arrive later, but it seems they were rather ill-prepared for people who they put chairs out for. So anyway, thank you. Fred Taylor.
Thank you, Fred.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, yes, he's walking away. Just, I wanted to own that up. We apologize. We will get it right next time.
You're late.
I know, sorry. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I'm Josh Murray from the Clifton Brackenseek Library, 9945 Flower Street. I'd like to invite everybody to this Saturday's Business Resources Information Session. We're having a business resource information session from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. this Saturday, August 18th, 2018. Did you know your library is filled with resources to help you in your business venture journey? Come to our information session and learn about the incredible resources available to you with your library card. And this is aimed at our adult population, ages 18 and over, especially entrepreneurs in the area. And I'll leave some flyers here at City Hall.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else in the audience want to speak on a non-agenda item? Not seeing any. We'll move on. Oh, okay.
Allison's ready to present again.
Oh, well, thanks for reminding me. I know you had enough time to fix it. Okay, let's get on with our presentation from Liberty Utilities, please.
Okay. Is this one? Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go into details of the system improvements we've made specifically for the Bellflower residents. And as you can see from the legend here on the left, we've installed 22 services, and that's to get to the water connected from our system to the home. So every time I click here, this is from 2015, 2016, and then 2017. You can see all those. The second thing is we've installed 7 valves, which are used for emergency shutoffs and repairs. And I will click on those. 2016 here, 2017. And we've added 3 blow-offs, which that means that they are used for best water flow throughout the system. You want those. And last, we have the fire hydrants that we've installed. Oh no, there we go. We've had 10 fire hydrants installed in the city of Bellflower for, of course, fire protection. And you can see all these areas here is where we have made your system improvements since 2015. And then now I'm going to talk about our 2 groundwater wells. You have the details in your packet, but I just wanted to go just a brief overview of what the benefit of groundwater. Wells, of course, the wells are used to extract groundwater, and groundwater reduces the dependency on purchased water, which is more costly. In addition, groundwater increases the water supply reliability. So the first one I want to talk about is well 40D, which is an existing well. Okay, it's just not going to go. But so it's over here in the screen right here. It would zoom in, but it's okay. We had, in 2018, we've had some electrical improvements as well as our SCADA system. Our SCADA system is what keeps up with all, it's a really cool system. IT system that keeps up with all of the water flow so that we improve that. And even though the well is in Downey, it's connected right here to the system, so it's 100% goes to
Is that a
our
high
system.
capacity well?
Say it again?
Is that a high capacity well? The Downey well?
The one at 28?
The deep water well?
Yes, it is
Deep,
on BSD
okay.
also.
Okay.
And then the other one here is well 28D. We just drilled this new groundwater at groundwater well at 10434 Alondra Boulevard. And this project's drilling is complete, which means the super noisy part is over and the sound walls have been taken down, as you guys probably have already seen. The well is 1,000 feet deep and the water has been tested and has met all state water quality standards. Then our next project that we're working on is for a 12-inch water main. It will go across to connect the system. So you'll have, the well, once it's running, will connect to the system. We're in the design phase for the pump house and booster station. That means this well should be online by the end of 2019.
So the connection of that well, new well, is that going to be going down Alondra or going down McNabb?
So I'm going to send you this.
I just want to know what streets you're digging up.
It's going down Alondra.
Alondra? Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
And then last is our planned improvements. So this is going into our rate case that we've asked the CPUC for, and that is 2,300 of 12-inch main. This will, I want to read this because it should have come up. So we're going to install 2,300 feet of 12-inch main along Clark Avenue between Rosecrans Avenue and Faywood Street in 2019, and this will improve the water quality for the Kaiser Hospital. All right. It
For the
worked
Bellflower,
mostly.
for the Bellflower Kaiser Hospital.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not a hospital no more. Medical center.
Medical center.
The hospital's in Downey, that's why I was clarifying.
So, thank you, sorry about
But they're
that.
both on Clark.
One last thing I wanted to share with you guys is our water conservation resources. So Liberty Utilities wants to help our customers learn how to conserve water. So we offer the following programs and services at no cost. And this picture here that you see, it's blurry on here a little bit, but all of the Bellflower residents will receive this that are our customers. So we have a delivery of ultra-high efficiency toilets. We have for free. Installation of ultra-high efficiency toilets for qualifying customers. We'll do home water use surveys where we'll come to your home to see what your water use is like and make some recommendations. We also have free water-saving devices that are listed in the brochure. It's also listed in your packet. We have rebates for water-saving devices, just as you said earlier. We partner with Central Basin. We also have a water conservation coordinator, Sarah Ray. Her card is in your packet. So anytime you guys want a consultation with her. We also, this is for water conservation and for any outreach opportunities. We'll do presentations on how to conserve water, workshops and events, anything about the value of water or how we operate. We're more than happy to give those workshops and presentations. So lastly, to connect with us, we're on Twitter, Facebook, and of course we have our website. So I encourage everyone to follow us for some water-saving tips and updates in your area.
Thank you, Allison. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Allison, in terms of water conservation, are you providing any kind of incentive to, for residents to convert grass to water, drought-resistant plants or landscaping?
Yes, so,
You do?
I'm sorry, Mr. Juan, you said about Central Basin. It's the same program, so we partner with Central Basin, and it's the same program that they have. It's the turf removal program, so yes, and we offer rebates. So that they can.
And how much the rebate per square foot?
I don't want to say the wrong number, but it's the same program. It's in your packet, and if you want, I can give it to you.
Okay, because I think that's going to be important for our residents to know.
Okay.
So it's in this?
Yes.
Okay, it's in here. Okay.
All right, good, thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, if
Yes,
I may?
Mr. Garza?
I have a couple questions. So the first thing is, do you guys come out to the community, like in our events?
We'd like to more. So I know that I met with the city manager and the assistant city manager, and my information got passed along by Randy. So we'd love to.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think it'd be good to have you guys out in some of our community events, maybe put out some information table to get some of this information out to our public that you're trying to get out through this meeting right now, correct? So
yes, that'd be great.
And then the other thing I had was regarding the well that was recently completed.
Okay.
What was your public outreach with that effort?
So it was a little unique in that the well was actually in the residents that we don't serve. So twice we went and knocked on those. There's about 3 or 4 homes that are directly there. So we did initially, and then the construction was a little further behind. So we ended up going back out there again, and we talked to those homeowners right there. So we actually knocked on doors because we don't have they're not in our system. They're not our customers.
Okay. One of the questions I was getting as I was out in the community was, to your point, like you pointed out before, there was a lot of noise, right? I used to work in the industry, so I'm pretty familiar with the level of noise. It's really a lot.
Yes.
And one of the things that I kept getting from members of the community was they saw the barriers go up, heard the noise, but they didn't really have anybody to contact. So just more, I know you're done with the drilling, which is great, right? But I just maybe, I always find there's always an opportunity to learn.
Yes.
And maybe in the future, having something really visible in terms of contact numbers or anything would be appreciated.
I understand, and I think that's a good thing to know.
Yeah. And then the last thing I had was regarding your rates.
Yes.
And I know we're not here to discuss your rates, but one of the things that I noticed is that your company, I think compared to the other 3 companies that service our city, you guys have a healthy mix of imported water. Right? Which, and from what I gather from the other 3 companies, it's not really much of an import mix. It's more groundwater, which is less expensive, to your point.
Right.
That by itself, just the imported water, I know can raise the rates. I get that. So what I find a lot of times with our public is because they don't work in the industry like you do and like I used to, that they don't know that.
Right.
So that may be, another bit of information that may be better shared with your ratepayers and our residents, so that they're a little more informed as to maybe why it is that they pay a little more than some of their neighbors in our city.
And we'd be happy to have a workshop here at City Hall if you guys would like us, because it is a complicated process and we don't set our rates, but we're happy to let people know how they are set.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful. And then that's really it. Just, we'd love to have you, some of our other water companies participate more in the community. Okay. We'd love to have you be a little more visible, so that's just my kind request.
Yeah. I got a question. Yeah. You said you don't set your rates. I get that. You estimate what your rate should be, and then you go to the PUC.
Correct.
And they've set them. But you recommend what they should be, and then they come back with something different. So I think you kind of set them a little bit. I'm just saying. Because you have to, I realize that you have to prove this is what you're doing, and this is the cost to, do it. But yeah, you initiate the increases.
Correct.
Okay.
But they finally make it.
She used the right verb.
Just saying.
I mean, there's an opportunity for the public to participate in that as well, that process. So we look forward to that. It'll be in a couple months.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes. Could you put back up your map that showed where you serve Bellflower? There you go.
There you go. It's this right here.
How about the one that had the well on it? Maybe that was a little better.
Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulties. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
It'll take half an hour.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
All right, so this right, I can get this to work. Right here, that's the 605 freeway, right?
Correct.
And this is the 105 right here, right?
Right.
Correct.
All right, and this is where the new well is, right there, right?
A little down.
Right about here.
Now, that's a riverbed right there. You see the blue?
Right.
It's
So
that
where,
side.
where's
Right
the-
there, right there.
There
There's
you
right there,
go.
W.
All right, there's that. Well, there you go. It helps when the W comes up. Now, this area here you said was your service area? Is that how I read that map? Because it goes over to Norwalk on the other side. So is this your service area?
It's right, it's in between right here. So it's all right here, and I'm not sure.
Yeah,
the other-
is this,
Oh, wow, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
right, are you claiming that to be your service area? That's what I'm asking.
Yes. Yeah, there's a
It's
little
not.
portion, there's a little portion right here.
That's the Bellflower High Track. The
So-
city of Bellflower serves that area.
Yeah, there's a little area that's on this map right here, that's a grade. I don't know why it's not showing up, but there's a little gray area right here, if that's the same part, that is not our service area. So you're probably pointing to the same spot. This one doesn't have the exact layers, but it does, but it's just being a little funny right here.
But I think you're depicting areas of Bellflower that, how many water companies do you think are in Bellflower?
Is it like 4?
Okay. And so you realize that what you're claiming to be yours is really the city of Bellflower's water system.
And put the map back up. I think I saw it before it disappeared.
Ray used to live over there. He knows he didn't buy park water.
I had,
It's Bellflower High Track.
yeah, it was bad water.
Right.
It's good water now.
Well, we're working on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's in here, right here, and then there's a couple of little gray areas, but we have it, it's just not working very well right now. Because this should be all grayed out right here, and
Okay.
this.
So is this Foster Road here, or is that 105?
The 105's right here.
All right, so that must be Foster Road, and then over here, that's City of Down.
See that, where that line goes, that's either Rosecrans, right? That's Rosecrans right there, where that line goes straight.
All right, well, this is Bellflower High Track then, right?
Yeah.
And Bellflower High School's here,
No, further this way.
or down here.
Or, no, yeah, I'm all confused now.
No, you're right, that's because that's.
Okay,
along
there's Hayford Street, yeah. Bellflower High Track's in that area. That's Bellflower High Track where you're, no, below it.
Right
Right
here.
there, yeah, that's Bellflower High Track.
All right.
It must, Somerset, maybe this breaks off at Somerset.
Yeah, so this is not, this right here is not ours.
All right.
Only in
And
between.
then up here, this is the City of Bellflower as well, next,
That's
you know,
Kmart.
on the
That's
other side of
right there.
Kmart,
That's Kmart right there.
all the way to Foster Road.
And there should have little X's right there, like a little grayed out parts I noticed in between. So you'll have like these little systems right here, and I think right here.
So
But it's
the
just
new-
not coming up.
The new well that you put on Alondra, you said it's 1,000 feet deep?
Yes.
And how much gallon per minute does it put out?
Gabe?
It's gonna pump out close to 2,500 gallons a minute.
2,500.
Yeah, that's what it's designed for.
And you're gonna run it at full capacity?
We'll plan to, yes. It'll have a VFD, it'll run right into the system.
All right, so I understand that that water won't go to Bellflower, it's going to Norwalk, is that right?
Yeah, well,
You're pumping
gonna go through
Bellflower
the
water to
system.
Norwalk?
it's located in Bellflower, but the main line that we're installing on Alondra is gonna shoot over that way, over the bridge, down Alondra. Yes, correct. So that's the well? That's the well.
Doesn't it
But
seem,
it's gonna go into Norwalk and then eventually
do you make a
its way-
habit out of drilling wells in an area that you don't serve?
That's where they picked out the.
You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't seem prudent to be able to pump water.
Yeah, this conversation keeps going. I need you at the mic up here.
All right. You want to, why don't you
Yeah.
come over here and then
Okay, so we get you on tape. City clerk's gonna be mad at me if I don't.
Okay, so anyway, you got this well, it's doing 1,000 feet deep, putting out 25 gallons per minute. It's going to send water to Norwalk, correct? And you,
Well, it's gonna serve, the Norwalk Bellflower is one system.
correct.
So it's all correct. It's gonna go, leave the site, and it's gonna go down Alondra,
Okay,
and then it's gonna go into Norwalk, of
Okay,
course.
good.
Travel through the distribution system, but it does end up in Bellflower, yes,
okay.
yes.
So this will allow, like Mr. Garza said, for you to replace some of your imported water.
Correct.
So is this going to result in the rates in Bellflower coming down?
Well, right now, our mix is improving. So, prior years, we were about a 60-40 mix. We're up to a 72% pumped water versus imported water. So it will relieve the pass-through costs a little bit.
Okay,
Slow down inflation.
slow down inflation.
Here, this is hopefully a little better map too, so you see the well and then how it connects to the system right here.
So this is what they're working on now. They're trenching on Alondra
Yes,
and going towards the freeway and over the river, correct?
over the river, yes.
And
tying
then
in on the
where are you
other
going to end
side.
up, in front of Cerritos College there?
Close to Cerritos College, yeah, right kind of across the street from it.
How many wells do you have, operating wells in Bellflower?
This will be the second, and then we have the other one off of Regent View, that one, and then we have the other one in Florida, so there'll be a third well that's in Bellflower.
Don't you use the one on Foster Road?
Yes, that one, yeah, that one operates regularly.
No, the Bellflower Somerset's got a well about 100 yards from there. You knew that?
Yeah, behind there, yes.
Right.
We
Are you
work-
worried about drawdown on that well?
When we did test pumping, there was no significant issue. Yeah, we were in direct communication with Bellflower Somerset.
Okay.
So it's a good producing well, good area. That's why it was picked, because of hydrogeologists picked that area because of the water quality.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, been a rough night for you, wasn't it? Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Did you say what it cost?
I don't know.
A thousand, we're 1250. No, 13A.
Okay, no ordinances or resolutions tonight for consideration. We're going to go to consideration items. 13A, Mr. Stewart.
This is consideration of possible action to designate Councilmember Juan Garza as the city's voting delegate for the 2018 League of California Cities Annual Conference to be held September 12 through 14, 2018, Long Beach, California. As you know, the mayor pro tem and mayor respectively are the representative and the alternate to the League of California Cities LA Division and voting on league measures. Mr. Garza, to the best of my knowledge, is the only member of the council who is choosing to go to the league conference in Long Beach this year, with myself and a couple other folks. And for him to be able to vote on the resolutions and take part in other league matters, it's necessary to designate him as the city's delegate to that conference, and we're requesting that you do so tonight.
I'll make a motion to consider Juan Garza for the council's designated member for the voting delegate for League of California Cities.
Second.
And without objection, that'll be the order.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Happy to, proud to represent our city.
Yeah, 13B, Mr. Stewart.
This is consideration of possible action to provide direction to the city manager regarding the city's public scoping comments to the West Santa Ana Branch Light Rail Project. This item has come up because Mr. Santanez has correctly asked how we have commented in the past on the West Santa Ana Branch extension and how we plan to do so in the future. And quite honestly, as catch can, and we've commented only formally once prior. We have an upcoming comment period where the city is expected to file comments by the end of August of this year, so the time is appropriate to get down the council's thoughts and what they want to reflect in correspondence back to the MTA and what they want to see in a light rail project extension. We have taken the list of concepts that we explored in the previous communications that we've had with representatives of the MTA, and we are suggesting that we include at least those and any others that the council may want to add or any that the council wants to delete, and it's really kind of an open forum to see which way the council wants to go on this issue.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Ricardo.
I'm not sure if we're getting a staff report or not, but if not, I'm happy to make some comments.
City manager pretty much took care of it.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Yeah. I wasn't sure.
Right.
Just the only thing I would ask to add would be were two things. One of them is to maintain and continue the existence of the bike and walking trail. I didn't see that in here, and if I missed it, I apologize. And then the last thing would be just under the safety and security. I'm not sure what that meant, but I would recommend just clarifying safety and security during construction and the subsequent operation of the line as well. And that completes my comments right now, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, was Jim going to give us any kind of report, or we're just going to need some dialogue? Because I know some of the audience wants to speak on stuff too.
I can provide a little bit of the background.
Why don't you get the audience up to speed is what I would get if you don't mind, and then we'll maybe draw some questions from us, and then we'll ask for the audience to come up.
Absolutely. So a little background, in late 2016, Metro announced the start of the light rail project that we are talking about that'll run from Artesia and Cerritos up through Bellflower with the downtown Bellflower train station to downtown Los Angeles. And this process starts with environmental analyses via the environmental impact report process. Projects of this scale require a number of public comment periods throughout the process, and as such, Metro began soliciting comments from the public and affected public agencies along the light rail corridor. This began in the spring of 2017 and ended on August 1st, 2017. The city submitted its comments in writing by the August 1st deadline. Shortly after the closure of that public comment period, Metro determined, based on comments that they've received, that additional options for the northern alignment of the route needed to be analyzed for potential inclusion in the environmental review process. And as a result of that, public comment period was reopened and additional public input meetings were scheduled and held. The deadline for this public comment period is Friday, August 24th, 2018, and gives the City Council the opportunity to review what was previously submitted and potentially add comments and or concerns for submittal to Metro. So with that, formally, staff recommends that City Council determine if clarification of comments or additional comments are to be submitted to Metro by the August 24th, 2018 deadline. And if so, authorize the city manager to submit City Council approved comments to Metro by that deadline, or alternatively discuss and provide some other direction to the city manager related to the item. That concludes my report. Okay.
Any questions to
Yes,
staff
Mr.
at the
Mayor.
moment?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor. Just on the first bullet point, Mr. Delalonga, regarding grade separation, you're only recommending the grade separation on Woodruff Flora Vista and Bellflower Boulevard?
We are, well, if that's all we can get, those are the ones that really need it. We are asking for grade separation through the length of the city.
So that includes, because I was kind of imagining grade separation on Bellflower and then Woodruff and then at grade on Clark and Lakewood. It's going to be like a
roller coaster
ride.
Yeah, we would like to see grade separation, and our emphasis is on grade separation city throughout the entire corridor.
Should we just say it outright, the whole city, instead of just two crossings?
I think when we do our, what we call it, our motion to, advice letter, I think that
Right.
maybe
So
that's, we ought to lean that way.
No, because in this case,
Yeah.
we only mentioned about Bellflower and Woodruff.
Yeah, we need to do the whole thing.
So I think the whole city, because we speak for the city anyway. And the second question I have is on, can you explain the fourth bullet point, support for expectations of other cities?
Well, as a part of the Joint Powers Authority that Eco Rapid is, they've worked together for all these years to come to the point where they've gotten this far with the light rail project, and so we want to continue to work together with them for the things that they're striving for, and continue to create that cohesive unified front with Metro to get this project done the way all the cities envisioned it to be done since the get-go.
Okay. Now, the other thing I want to make sure of is, how about parking for the riders? Are we assuming that Metro will provide that?
Metro provides a certain number, I believe it's 270 parking spaces with their station. So they have a normal plan for their train stations. When they build them in the various cities at their locations, they provide 270 to 300 parking spaces for those stations.
So basically, it's a safe assumption that they will provide parking?
Correct.
Okay, so, because what I'm afraid of is for them to tap into our parking structure. I don't want that to happen.
Understood.
Okay, and then, and I think we don't have to worry about any displacements, because from what I know right now is there's no one in the city of Bellflower who's going to be displaced based on the current configuration.
Correct, because the train is supposed to occupy the existing right-of-way.
Okay, that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Any questions?
What's the story on the paintball park? That sounds like a displacement.
We are
All right.
The city is opposed to the use of the paintball park?
I'm doing it, Gio's up there, so he's not here for his help.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we did a resolution
right.
on
And right now, we have not heard whether or not the MTA wants to pursue that or not pursue it at the moment. So we're kind of a wait and see if how they're going to move forward, what the recommendations they want to make. Because they're really unclear what part of the line they want to put it on here or later. And
So Juan, I'm going to ask you this question. We had always hoped, and still do, that it'd be above grade. That was does it sound as though that's still up for discussion when we talk about grade separation? They want at grade with grade separation? Is that how they're leaning at this point?
I think everything's on the table
So
right now. They're doing their studies at this point of every city, every portion of the segment. So I know we've had some discussions between Metro staff and our staff as well in terms of how their traffic studies are coming along that would justify either grade separation or at grade. They're not finalized yet. I think they're coming back at the end of next month to continue the discussion at the staff level to see which way the studies indicate. So. But one of the things that staff did a great job in clarifying with Metro at the last meeting they had in the end of June was one thing that we found was that Metro did in their studies, they did a point-in-time study as of now, meaning they were assessing traffic patterns now, rather than assessing traffic patterns that they would be in the future, right? And they didn't take into account some of the projects that are upcoming in our city, right? Like the effect that the parking structure will have, the effect that the potential project in the new markets
big
that will have.
developments, yeah.
And those are just the beginning. There's other improvements that are happening in our city. And so I think there's been dialogue between our staff and Metro staff to update them as to some of these things so that they'll consider those in the study. So it's ongoing.
Yeah, so it's not, nothing's chiseled in stone. We're still working towards.
Yes. And as to the maintenance yard, as the city manager mentioned before, Metro has not decided on that yet. There's a couple of sites that they're considering along the right-of-way, but I think at this point in time, their priority really is more on not necessarily the location of the maintenance yard yet. They know it's going to be somewhere along the right-of-way. It's more so what they're going to include in what they call the P3 offering, the public-private partnership offering. So just to share with the public, one of the innovative ways that Metro is going to construct this line is they're not going to build it themselves. They're actually going to put this project out to bid, and they're going to have a private company that would be able to construct this line. I think it's generally accepted that the private sector does things a little faster, and so by doing faster, Metro's hoping to realize some cost savings throughout the project. That bid should be, the initial draft bid should be out in the street, they're thinking February of next year. So all the legwork is happening right now to put that together.
So it needs to be decided what's above grade and what's below grade.
Right, that's why they're doing all those studies right now.
Construction.
So that's why it's imperative, to staff's point, and it's a good thing they're here tonight, they're asking for this, it's imperative that we tell Metro what it is that we desire as they're conducting these studies, because whatever gets put into that P3 RFP, it's pretty much set in stone. That's what the private sector is going to be bidding on. So,
Mayor and members of the council, it's key at this point to have all the options that we can be placed in the environmental study so that if another option comes up, if it's not studied at this time and they decide to go a different route, they'll have to redo the studies for it. So that's why we want to fill this letter with as much requests or options that we can fit in the letter and have them study so we don't lose out on anything. We want to make sure that
we want to keep it credible as well.
True, but I mean, it's why we want to make sure the above grade is studied, so that if it comes back that is a viable option, but they didn't study it, they won't have to go back and do an environmental study of that later.
I will tell you, to date, we've been unstinting in our desire to make sure that it's an unloaded rail as much as we can possibly get in this city. We've been very clear on that, and we will continue to be very clear on that issue.
The other thing I wanted to point out is that staff has done a really good job of communicating with Metro staff. In fact, it'd be arguable that our city is frankly at the forefront of the development of this line. I think a lot of cities look up to what we're doing because we're so far advanced in some of the planning that we're doing here. So, and Metro has said that as well. So, yeah, this letter is important, and our input is important. So,
yeah.
Now, I think you indicated earlier that we expect no private property would be taken to complete the line. Is that what we're suggesting, or is that?
Currently, that's the plan because the right-of-way already exists.
Because I had the mayor, or Hoffmeyer was in the store on Saturday, he said 14 lots have got to be sacrificed.
Yeah, I heard
the only private land ever been discussed, and that was just the one study out of the different phases, was the rail yard here. And that's the only thing that's ever been discussed with the utilization of property. But again, it's a private lease, it's public property. But there is no private property being discussed on this thing. So.
In Bellflower.
All right, that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. De La Longa, how about other cities regarding grade separation? Are they pushing for grade separation or at grade?
Oh, I didn't.
Other cities.
I didn't. Oh, other cities.
Yes.
Juan might know more about that as represented at Eco Rapid. I think we're the ones that are really pushing the above grade.
No, but I think it's going to be better if we can encourage them to go along with us.
I think Paramount agrees with us for the most part.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, the one city that has strongly asked for grade separation has been the city of Southgate. They've asked for grade separation, but they haven't asked for it throughout the city. They've asked for it at certain points. They have some really large streets that would be affected by this, so they've asked for that. But outwardly, we've been the most vocal on the grade separation aspect, so, which calls for the support right of what other cities want in that bullet point here, so. It's not the whole right of way.
Mr. DeLonga, during the maximum trips, I mean, the morning and the evenings when the trains are really going, shuttling people to work or whatever, is the maximum 12 trips per hour?
I think we were measuring it in the time that the gates were down. I think we were talking about 20 minutes per hour that the gates would be down. One way.
So it's 12 and 12, right?
Yeah.
I've already done the math. 3 minutes.
during
And
the
it's
peak
3
hour.
minutes per
Yeah.
because it's got to come down 30 seconds before, minute and 30, yeah.
Presuming the trains don't ride at the same time.
Right, they're
They
not going to
don't.
run, they're not going to cross the same time every time.
So we've estimated that it could take up to 48 minutes an hour to run
Yeah,
those
so
trains through.
that's where I'm getting at you know, we could have Bellflower Boulevard closed, you know, say 45 minutes of an hour.
In the
for
peak
7
time.
and 8 and 9.
Yeah, in the morning and the afternoon.
You know,
and
the
at
traffic's
peak
going to
hour.
back up to 91 freeway. So I was in city manager's office today, and I'm going to put this on the table tonight if we could. But I think we're at the point where we need to hire our own consultant to do some time management for the EMTA of what actually costs. And what you said is like adjusted for when we start, you know, bringing, you know, another 300, you know, living units downtown or something like that with the traffic. And I think we need to spend $20,000, $50,000, whatever it costs, to justify it goes above grade. Because the fact is, everybody knows any report, you can make it lean your way. An environmental impact, you can kind of lean, oh, it's just right on the border. You know, is it really on the border or is it way south? Because when it's built, it's done. And I would really like to see this council vote to spend some extra money to hire a professional consultant to do our own study. Because we're going to get what MTA wants us to get if we don't do that. Put on the next agenda? Okay. But that's my 2 cents.
No, I don't
Because I
disagree.
really, you know, because my eyes, when I went to Pasadena on a tour, and they started telling me how when these gates are crossed, and I'm doing math, and I'm thinking 45 minutes being a closure on Bellflower Boulevard every morning and every evening. But with that said, I know there's people in the audience that would like to come, if everybody's ready to hear from some audience, because, yes?
Just one last comment. One of the things that Metro has proposed for all cities along the right-of-way is because there's going to be stretches that are at grade and some grade separated. They're going to be reaching out to every city council to provide tours of examples of both of those things along other rights-of-way, and I think probably mostly the Gold Line. So I just wanted to disclose that out, that's going to be coming our way as well. So.
Cool.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. All right, anybody in the audience want to come up? You're a patient man.
Hello, good evening, City Council, Guy Bremer. So yeah, a lot of things that have just been said here in the last 10 or 15 minutes is kind of what I'm here to reiterate, was my concerns with this at-grade potential Metro train. And at the scoping meeting, that's what they were talking about at this point is it was at grade. So my thoughts are kind of agreeing with what was said, is it needs to be above grade for the obvious reasons: traffic, train noise, traffic noise, vibration. Very importantly, traffic accidents, train versus car, I think is something we need to really consider. You know, how many times is that going to happen over the next 10, 20, 30 years? And then just as it was mentioned about Bellflower Boulevard being closed 45 minutes per hour in peak over here at Flower and Woodruff, I couldn't imagine those intersections closed for 45 minutes out of an hour, because you'd be blocking traffic both ways. So I just think if we don't go above grade, the city will be forever changed, not in a positive way. And I'm really concerned if this thing goes at grade, we'll be stuck with it and probably be very unhappy. So I'm urging the city to do the right thing and get this thing above grade so it doesn't affect us. And you know, there's a lot of homes that are real close to it as is. I think there needs to be consideration for the train noise. I know by Crothers Park there's homes that are very, very close. There's apartments at Flower and Woodruff that are close. And I think that the train noise needs to be considered too, and if there needs to be sound barriers, we need to look at that. One last comment about the scoping meeting. They did run out of the English comment card and were passing out Spanish. So for a person that maybe was going to knock on a few doors and try to get the neighbors involved, because I think a lot of people don't really know what's coming. They see the little thing come in the mail from the Metro, and until I went to the scoping meeting, I really didn't really understand, what was going on. So it gave me a lot of insight, so I'm glad that I went. But my girlfriend is here. She kind of has the same thoughts that I do. And then we have other family members here in Bellflower that are at work that wanted to kind of relay the same thoughts. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. How was the acoustics in that place at your scoping meeting?
Oh, terrible.
Oh, darn.
Just pile it on. I was there that night.
Yeah. Oh, could you hear?
But I didn't hear nothing. But I did have some cookies, so the cookies were great. 2 things. I actually was going to come today to talk about what incident in Hollywood Sports, and the sheriff really did a great job for us. I feel for you guys. You guys are good people. If you want a job with security, come on over to Hollywood Sports. We'll hook you up. But they really took care of us, so I just want to say that. And then they talked, and I didn't want to say nothing. But as far as the train goes, I talked to everybody privately in the city of Pasadena, Old Pasadena. I sat on subcommittees for about 9 years. And we had to get high-end business owners who were attorneys by trade, that were property owners, to get them convinced on letting the train come to Old Pasadena. At this point in the game in Old Pasadena, we already had a public subcommittee to work with council, to talk to the community, talk to people. I think we should do that. Secondly, we were already prepared, like you're going to another phase of their scoping meeting for the 24th. We should have already been saying, what do we do for traffic? How we control traffic? Are you putting up a website? Is there going to be signs? Is there going to be goodies to displace consumers shopping in Bellflower? That's what we did in Old Pasadena. And for a long time I've been saying this. I brought some people around to see what they did good in Old Pasadena and even in Monrovia, and what they didn't good in South Pasadena, and it still didn't develop. But you're at that point that there's a $4.8 billion project, and the city, if you work strong enough, can extrapolate that cash for your town. And you're not doing it right. You should be asking for every bit of that money to increase the value of the entire town of Bellflower. That train is going to be a rainmaker if it's done correctly, or it's going to leave your town the way it sits now if it's done incorrectly. That train's going to bring your calculations to bring in bigger businesses, 58,000 people, that's what they're saying, but I believe it's going to be higher than that, because the southern portion is needed some sort of renaissance, and this is going to do it. Your consumers on this side will use that train, because the consumer on this side are even Uber guys, and everybody wants to go downtown and get jobs. But it's time. I mean, I don't know what more I got to do. I've been begging everybody, let's do a subcommittee so we can start, because we can bring a lot of those developers from Old Pasadena. I know them personally. This is what they did right, and this is what they did wrong. But South Pasadena fought it, and they have a rinky-dinky looking thing on their downtown. Old Pasadena, we went for the cash. Metro is going to spend $4.6 billion, if not more. Federal money is going to come in, and P3 money, those investors are beautiful investors because they'll add parks, concert areas, areas where the community can gather, and make Bellflower a huge destination. Besides what you guys are doing now, you're doing great. Downtown's looking better. But we should already be at that point. It's been a year that we know we're going here. So what I'm suggesting, I'm just a small guy, small businessman over here. I'm just suggesting that Jim should ask for everything. I want every single study on everything. On the yard, not a yard, over rail and under rail. But Bellflower needs, grade separation would be better, or below separation is better. But if not, you need to have a better system on your crossing guards. If you saw what they did in Old Pasadena, that's a rainmaker. All those restaurants are killing it because they have the crossing guards perfect, where you're going to go into the business and walk away. So my thing is, I love the train because I know what it did for Old Pasadena. We went from, I tell everybody the story, we went from 40 cents a square foot to $40,000, $30,000 key money after the train. 1991, 1999. It was because everybody wanted to come there. Because not only you had the foot traffic, which you guys are developing right now, but now you could have all the home values around go up.
And if you start talking to neighbors, they're gonna want things too. You know, they're gonna need some windows, right, sound and all that, but we should be asking for everything. Because guess what, if you ask for it now, you'll get it. If you ask for it, once all the studies are done, you're not gonna get it. And I can show you towns who did not ask. Look at Azusa, not too cool. South Pasadena, not too good. Old Pasadena, killed it. Even Riverside, killed it. Chino, killed it. But it's time for a subcommittee with the public. The public should be involved. I have a lot of experience. There's other people who have a lot of experience. You guys have a lot of experience. When you put both people together, you stimulate investors and people to come to Bellflower. Because you're showing as a city council that, hey, you want the public involved. And then the Peak 3 money will come. You'll have more than one downtown. That's what I'm saying. So I just want to say, sorry about your situation. The sheriffs took care of Hollywood sports, so I commend them. I've been talking with them. We had an incident that we'll talk, but they did a great job, and we're still communicating. We're changing even security things at Hollywood sports. So you had a bad situation, I had a good situation. They're good guys. Every now and then we have to let them know that things don't go correctly every day. That's it. God bless everybody. Have a great night.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Anybody else? Not seeing any. Let's have some discussion. I would think we ought to ask from the moon. See if we get somewhere in between. Yeah. But I'm for grade separation through the whole entire city. I've always been the grade separation. Giamatti had a good idea, you know, ask for windows for adjacent properties or sound walls. You had another resident that said, do you need sound walls or something on it? But if it's grade, if it's up in the air, I don't know how to even put a sound wall, you know, on it, but, yeah. But
and I think that's something that has been included. I don't think it's in our list. I think it's completely more than okay to include it in our list. But I know that's something that comprehensively as us cities it's been requested. But yeah.
And so in our resolutions for what we're doing here tonight, we're going to. Yeah, for a resolution, and can we do, I have a side note on for maybe spending some money to get a professional to double check what MTA is telling us that we should have and what we really want. We just need, I think we need a report that backs up what we really think we need.
I think that's yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Traffic and above grade, just to prove it, you know, if they have an EIR that says one thing, we want an EIR, not a, you know, or a study that says we need something else.
Somebody check and balance it out.
And I would bet we're probably the only city that's actually, would be spending money to try to do something like that, but.
So just to clarify, the comments that, staff, what you're doing tonight is getting these comments, you're going to come back again with another letter?
I'll bring back.
The reason?
I'll bring it back to you guys so you can approve it.
The reason I'm asking is
Mr.
because
City Manager, we have
these comments
until
are
the 24th.
before our next council meeting. 27th.
We have a special meeting on next Tuesday.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect.
We're okay.
I wanted to just throw it out there.
It can be the agenda on Tuesday.
Yeah. So that fits in the time frame, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So if you don't mind me just putting in another tidbit, just an update.
No, I don't mind at all.
For you gentlemen and the public as well. So as you know, the city is a member of EcoRapid. EcoRapid is a joint powers authority, so it's basically an entity that connects all 13 cities through which this line is going to go through. So traditionally, historically, that joint powers authority, this body, its main mission has been to advocate for this line to be built. So it's framed, if you look at their charter, they're framed as a construction authority. So Metro is going to build this thing. So EcoRapid as an organization will have upcoming meetings to reshape themselves, right, Jeff? Ourselves. And so one of the things we're looking at becoming, one of the options would be an economic development corporation, which would take into consideration some of these benefits that we can realize along the right-of-way, right? Yeah. So just to clarify, the right-of-way that stretch where the bike trails are, that's what Metro owns. That's where they're going to build the line. Everything that happens outside of that, from the crossings to the building improvements, all that is going to be, Metro's going to contribute to that, but for the most part, we're looking at the Economic Development Corporation, potentially, taking care of that so that the whole right-of-way is appealing, so you don't have a stretch where you have something that's not as appealing and another one that is, because that's going to hurt the line right, yeah. So I just wanted to provide an update that's an exercise that EcoRap is going to be undertaking probably in the next couple months, so it's going to make a nice complement to Metro. So we work together with Metro, they build it, and we improve the living standard and the benefits along the right-of-way. So that was it. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments?
Nope.
Okay, so you got enough direction, right, for the next meeting? Consent calendar, guys, what's your pleasure?
It's number 13C.
Oh, no, we got one more.
So Tay is, oh, there he is.
13C, Mr. Stewart.
This consideration possible action to provide direction concerning the administrative cost allowance and the last and final recognized obligation and payment schedule, or ROPS, of the period of July 1st, 2019 through June 30, 2034. This will be the last and final time you see this. I made Tay put it on the agenda so that the council can have their say on how far they want to go with this thing. So with that, Tay has it.
Thank you.
You going to help him like you helped the water girl?
She's a rainmaker. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, time's
Are
up.
there any questions?
Good night, everybody.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The successor agency currently receives funding through the annual ROPS process, and this process requires annual approval from both the Oversight Board and the State Department of Finance, or DOF. Our successor agency has 15 years remaining from 2019 to 2034, so we have 15 more annual ROPS to file. To streamline this process and based on certain other benefits, the successor agency approved the last and final ROPS on March 26, and Oversight Board's approval was received on May 8th. Just one last and final ROPS covers all remaining 15 annual ROPS. Subsequently, our last and final ROPS was submitted to DOF on May 11th, and DOF has until August 19th to complete its 100-day review. During its review, DOF stated that the city's administrative cost allowance of $250,000 per year is excessive and cannot be approved unless it is supported with staff time and other costs. Our $250,000 allowance is an amount that is authorized under the state law, but it can be reduced under two different circumstances. One, by DOF through this last and final ROPS process, provided that the changes are agreed to in writing by the successor agency, or two, by Oversight Board unilaterally through the annual ROPS and last and final ROPS process. So the Oversight Board has much greater power or authority than DOF in terms of cutting the administrative cost allowances. DOF further stated that it has authorized administrative cost allowances that range from $1,000 to $5,000 per ROPS item per year, and this translates into the annual maximum of $30,000 for Bellflower, as we have 6 ROPS items currently. And they are note payable to Mr. and Mrs. Dietz in the amount of $93,030. HDL for property tax consulting services totaling $46,500. BUSD trust settlement payments of $3.8 million, which is an estimate. City loan repayments of $15.9 million at 4% simple interest. And 2016 taxable tax allocation refunding bonds of $7.3 million and BNY trustee fees of $31,500. This is a table of DOF approved administrative cost allowances. As you can see, there are large reductions affecting some agencies Arcata, Cerritos, Ridley, Union City, Ventura County, and West Hollywood. We have a new consolidated oversight board effective July 1st of this year. As discussed, this new oversight board can also reduce the administrative cost allowances. The supermajority, 5 out of 7 members, represent other agencies' interests, as 2 members are appointed by County Board of Supervisors, 2 other members by schools, and 1 member by special district. So we don't know what the new oversight board is going to do to the successor agencies. The benefits of the last and final ROPS include the interest rate on the city's loan will increase from the current 3% to 4%. This 1% increase in the interest rate will give the city $1.7 million more in interest. The last and final ROPS will also provide a permanent guarantee that all existing obligations, including the city's loan, will be repaid. And lastly, the successor agency will no longer have to prepare and submit the annual ROPS. This means no more annual re-review and re-challenge of the same previously approved items by both the DOF and the Oversight Board. Also, as you may recall, just recently through the annual ROPS 1819 process, the DOF attempted to invalidate the city's loan it has previously approved to be valid. And this last and final ROPS will eliminate this type of risk in the future. This is a one-page comparison between last and final ROPS and annual ROPS. City loan repayments, including both principal and interest, will increase from $14.2 million to $15.9 million due to the interest rate increase from 3% to 4%. The 1% interest rate difference is $1.7 million. Last and final ROPS will provide permanent protection of the city's loan, whereas annual ROPS will not, as the city's loan will be re-reviewed by DOF and Oversight Board annually. Administrative cost allowance under the last and final ROPS will be $30,000 a year or a different amount as approved by DOF. And under the annual ROPS, it is highly uncertain due to the new Oversight Board members. We have 15 annual ROPS that are required to be filed, but if the last and final ROPS is approved, we allow 2 maximum lifetime amendments. Staff's recommendation to the City Council acting on behalf of the successor agency is to authorize the city manager to submit a reduced administrative cost allowance of $30,000 per year, $5,000 per ROPS item, and if required, to agree to a different amount that will allow for the DOF's approval of the successor agency's last and final ROPS for the permanent protection of the city's loan and a $1.7 million gain in interest earnings, or alternatively, discuss and take other action related to this item. There is a caveat. Until we receive DOF's determination letter by the statutory due date of August 19th, it is possible that DOF may raise other issues and challenge other ROPS items, including the city's loan. This concludes my report.
But once they commit on the 19th, we're good to go, you think? They're not going to re-examine the issue with the last and final ROPS?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, but your sense is that's what they're looking to do, is make the deal and cut that out?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my sense as of today. That's the end of my...
But what you have before you is a low-risk, high-reward item. If the DOF is mostly been, I say this loosely, if they do commit to a deal, they generally adhere to it. What we're asking today is you wait till we hear on the 19th whether or not they'll commit to that deal, that we submit our last and final ROPS and we're just done with it forever, and we protect our $1.7 million. And we'd recommend approval of that item tonight.
For $30,000 a year.
For $30,000 a year.
And then we're good for 14 years. Now, Tay, you expend a cost for preparing this stuff every year as well.
Correct, staff time.
Then you will no longer have to.
Right.
I'm not saying it's 30,000, but there is a cost there.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Ray, can you bring back the previous chart? So I want to clarify. Well, what's the balance of the city's loan? roughly?
Currently is
Yeah.
$14.2 million.
That's the balance right now, 14.2?
Yes, that includes principal and interest.
Okay. So if we agree with the last and final ROPS, that will be protected.
Right,
It will- it will
$15.9
not be
million.
cha- It won't be challenged anymore. That's number
Correct,
one.
yes.
Number two, I see it here is that we gain $1.7 million in interest from 3% to 4%.
Yes.
Okay, so that, and then the flip side is we're giving up $220,000 a year in admin, from
Actually-
250 to 30,
Which was over.
right,
For 14 years.
for 14 years.
Well, and which can be overturned by a county oversight board that we think is going to be pretty hostile toward our interests since they represent other incidents and taxing entities.
So the 30 is a good number. It's a very reasonable number
That's a
that the
number that-
oversight can approve.
Correct. That's the
And it's
minimum they
probably-
can.
What would be the closest real cost? It can't be $250,000. That's probably what we used to spend when we had a full redevelopment agency.
Yeah,
You know,
precisely. Yeah, I
we're
mean,
probably spending 30 to 50,000 a year right now.
This is
Oh,
this is a logical, right deal. If we're going to battle it out with the new
Yeah.
oversight board,
And then give them something there.
and I think we're going to lose every
Yeah.
time.
And
because
the way I
it's,
see it is kind of, it eliminates uncertainty. Once we have the final ROPS, that's it, it's cast
Bingo.
in stone, and we're good to go. For the next 14 years.
I mean, Tay's caveat is well taken. Until we get this inked, tattooed on us by DOF, we're taking it for granted. But I think we, at this point, got to hope that the deal is the deal. Yeah.
Can you back up to the slide that had all the debt on it? And because yeah, keep going, keep going.
Oh.
Yeah, they're right there, yeah, right there. What's all that add up to? I mean, that's way more than 15 million.
Should I get a, should I get a calculator? Somebody help me here.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
About 28 million.
27, 28 million?
Yeah, 28 million.
But some of those, the 15.9 is ours, the 3.8, do we care?
No, we've got it set aside.
Yeah, but we don't, yeah, we're not on the hook for the Bellflower District, right?
Right.
That's kind of a bogus number out there.
Yeah, okay.
All the payment sources are property taxes, and
Yeah.
if we don't pay for those purposes, then most of the property taxes go to LA County and the schools. Yeah.
They're still getting their portion. They're still getting their portion, right? The
Yes.
schools?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but as I'm seeing the payment amounts, they're all the same, whether if we do one scenario or the other, they're all the same amount until July 2030?
They're all
Correct.
the same amount except for city loan repayments. If we do the last and final ROPS,
Yeah.
we gain $1.7 million. That's what that is.
Correct.
But if we don't do the last and final ROPS, then it's lower by $1.7 million.
Correct, yeah, but it's far off, okay.
And then the other is BSD trust settlement payments that is based on formulas.
Yeah.
And that's our best estimate as of today. And it can be higher or lower.
Thank you.
23. So we're probably looking at around 20, I'm guessing, I'm estimating in my head, they're 23, really 23.5 million, probably there. And we're settling for close to 16 million.
Correct, 22 to could be challenged.
Yeah.
Minus the 3.8.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know in past record shows that they're going to start over a 15-year period, and they nip a little here, and nip a little here, nip a little there.
The way that it was set up, the taxing entities hold sway here. I mean, the cities are punished for taking that redevelopment money, the increment money away from the taxing entities for the X amount of years that they did it, the 35 years they did it. There is no way in hell they're ever going to agree to giving the cities any more of whatever tax money they think they should be receiving. So those monies will be gone, and any review that's done, they will take out.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, and if I were them, frankly, I wouldn't do it any other way either. It just is what
Time
it
to
is.
cut and run.
Yeah.
Right now, DOF has no problem with anything except for the city's loan repayment. They're out to get us, and this is the best way
Oh,
to.
this secures it.
Yes,
This will seal the deal.
yes.
Okay.
In fact, honestly, I'm surprised that he got as good a deal as he did on that. I really thought we were going to lose 60% of that, 70%. So, you know, that is what it is.
So you're saying Tay came through again, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I say, let's take it now.
Well, that's pretty much sums that up, guys.
Exactly.
So you're just looking for direction on that, so this is a consideration item. And I think we're all happy with that
Yeah,
direction?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the consensus is we're happy.
Thank you, Tay.
Thank
You
you.
must have showed them the awards you've won over the years or something.
I've been losing sleep over this.
Well, there you go. Now you can sleep tonight.
That's a $220,000 a year, his time.
Oh, wait a minute, we're supposed to have a public, this is a public comment meeting. Anybody?
Yeah, Peter wants
yeah,
something.
Anybody in the public want to come forward and chime in on this?
So 1% increase from 3% basically increases our debt by 1.7 million per percentage?
No.
Because from about
No, it's the
14.2
interest
to
they're paying.
15.1.7, thanks. And that went from 3% to 4%.
Actually, it's a money receivable by the city, so city will be gaining $1.7 million.
Interesting. Okay.
It's not a debt to us.
Yeah. Interesting.
Kind of a wash.
Anybody else in the audience? This is a public hearing. Not seeing any. I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to submit a reduced administrative cost allowance of $30,000 per year, $5,000 per ROPS item, if required, to agree to a different amount, and will allow the DOF's approval of the successor agency, last and final ROPS, for the permanent protection of the city's loan of $1.7 million gain in interest earnings.
Second.
A motion on the floor by myself and a second by Councilmember Garza. Call roll.
Councilmember Coops?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Santinas?
Aye.
Councilmember Garza?
Aye.
Mayor Dutton?
Aye.
Consent calendar.
All right. Consent calendar, item 14. And does anybody have any recusals on any items?
Mr. Mayor,
Or comments or hold?
14Q, I'm out in Trabuco Butterfly Garden. I got property
14Q recuse.
nearby.
Anyone else?
I'd like to pull 14N, Mr. Mayor.
And 14N is in
November, yes.
November.
Mhm.
That's one. And Sonny's still looking.
Mayor, I'd like to pull 14L
14L.
for a question.
Sonny, do you have any recusals?
Not tonight.
I don't have any.
Okay, thank you.
Why are you picking on me?
Just make sure you're all with it.
I'm looking for a property in Bellflower Boulevard, so.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, let's get Juan, let's 14, he's going to pull 14 in. Juan, what do you need to know on 14 in?
Just a couple questions. For those of you out there that don't know, this is a receive and file for the Municipal Water System 2018 Annual Report. So I just wanted to ask staff a couple questions. One is, what is the status of the water system cell?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. The status on the cell, the water system right now, is that it's still locked up in the internal processes we recently found out with the Public Utility Commission. So Cal-Am, who provided the best proposal for the cell, the water system, and who the voters here in Bellflower approved to purchase the water system, they attempted to utilize the advice letter process with the PUC, and that letter has been in with them for nearly 7 months, and as we recently found out from Cal-Am, it hasn't even moved off anyone's desk there. There's no, with an advice letter process, there's simply no timeframes that are established or anything like that. So instead of waiting for something to happen, they've cut the advice letter process down. They're not going to do it. They're in the process of submitting their full application, which now goes before the PUC and the commissioners and has established deadlines and forces the process to happen. So nothing new has moved in a physical sense in terms of the cell, the water system. However, on the back end administratively, they've essentially changed their process with the PUC, and they're starting that all over. Now, the timeline that they've kind of given sounds like, probably summertime of 2019 before it can be completed. You're at the mercy of the PUC and their meetings and getting on the dockets and so forth. But again, now at this point, it will be forced in terms of time periods and everything. So
we're tied to basically the bureaucracy.
yes,
there,
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that with the public so they, our city owns the system and they voted to sell this and to realize some benefits from this thing. And
correct.
For those people that are out there that probably haven't seen some of those benefits come yet, I just wanted to share this with them so they know that we haven't lost sight of the fact that, we're following through on what they wanted. It just, we're kind of beholden to the system at this point.
Yeah, and on the backside of it, we're doing a lot of legwork in anticipation of the benefits of the sale of the water system. So, we've, PJ and I have met with a couple different firms talking about some of the rec programs that we're going to be doing in the future here with some of the proceeds from the sale. So, we're doing everything we can to keep our ship on a straight course. We're stuck with the, state bureaucracy at this point, which can be tedious at times as we're finding out.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that update. And then the last question I have, Mr. Mayor, is regarding the retirement of the debt. I'm not sure you or maybe Tay. So since the water system sale is getting delayed now, how does that affect our budget?
Our budget is still good. We have sufficient water revenues to make the debt service payments. So we'll continue to use water revenues to make the debt service payments until we can defease it with the sales proceeds.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you. That completes my questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Len, has the price of water rights changed much since we made the deal to sell the company?
I haven't seen, there's probably been some rights that have been sold on the market since our time period.
13.5 is kind of where we were with that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any recent sales with it, so there's really nothing to kind of compare it to or anything. But I think the value that we got was certainly market value. They didn't overpay for those water rights in their offer to us.
And no matter how long it takes to finish this deal, we don't have to worry about any erosion on the price or anything?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually working on this price. We're on our end too. Catherine's been working diligently because we have several grants that we pulled out, both federal and state grants, and we have to work out. Some of the grants require us to make payments back to them because we're selling the system. Some of them don't, so we're kind of vetting through all that process as well. So.
Thank you.
All right. Item 4L, Sonny.
14L, Mr. Delanga. Well, I just want to share this information with our viewing public because I know that this program is working well. We're creating jobs to Kingdom Causes and to their good soil industries. I just want to find out from you how many jobs have been created since 2012?
Actually, we don't have that figure
You don't have the data?
available right now.
Because I know that in the report, you expect to create 10 jobs. I was wondering if we've been consistently creating 10 jobs every year, or has that been changing?
Funding varies from year to year, and so I believe that the jobs created would vary, but we do have Kingdom Causes here today in the audience, and they would be able to possibly answer that question.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
I'm sorry though, because
I want you to share that information with the public because it's a great program. So anyway, my question is, how many jobs have been created since we partnered with you in 2012?
I really wish I
You
could
know,
give
oh,
you that
okay.
data.
Tell him
'cause
anything, he'll believe it.
Yeah, I direct the housing program.
Is there a way
so
that we...
Jason isn't here, but I can definitely get that information.
Yeah, you can report back to us because
absolutely.
it's a good story to share.
Yeah, absolutely. We can get you that data tomorrow. I'll talk with
very
Jason
good.
about it. So yeah, sorry I can't represent
That's okay.
that program
I just thought about the question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the balance of the consent calendar along with Coop's recusal on 14Q.
Move for approval.
Second.
Without objection, that'll be the order. And one little housekeeping item, and I think somebody wasn't watching me very good, but we really need to vote on 13B. I forgot. I just said you got
13B?
direction. I thought it was an item of consideration, but it's asking me to either Without objection, that'll be the order, or?
Well, let's move the approval.
We don't
No,
need to
I
vote.
don't need to?
It's just
Okay.
the direction.
You've got the mayor's
Yeah,
agenda, it's got
yeah.
it on there.
No, it doesn't say this on my cheat sheet.
Oh.
But you're good. I know, I definitely did. I got derailed on that item.
Uh-oh.
They're slow over there.
Yeah.
Cheap seats. Yeah. All right. Been a long day, guys.
I know.
Get caught up. Council agency reports, Mr. Garza?
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make these really quick. July 28th, Saturday, I met as the new Contract Cities Legislative Chair. We met strategic planning session. It was like 8 hours. My first meeting as the chair, the chair of this committee is going to be this Wednesday, so trying to represent our city well on that. We had the West Santa Ana branch scoping meeting that we talked about today on the 31st. Sound was not good. I think that's been acknowledged. We also had a RECO Rapid meeting on the 8th of August. It's in place at the Main. The next one is going to be on September 19th for those of you that are interested. It'll be the last meeting that Eco Rapid is going to be hosting in Bellflower. And then on the 15th, so upcoming events on the 15th, I'll be participating in Congresswoman Sanchez's Veterans Advisory Council meeting. On the 20th is, first of all, I want to acknowledge the president of the Bellflower Unified School District Board, Laura Sanchez Ramirez, is being in the audience, so thank you for being here tonight. So I want to mention that on the 20th is the first day of classes in our district. So you'll see a change of in traffic patterns, so please be safe. Everyone out there, please be safe. We will have children out there and parents, so we have a good track record. Let's keep it going on being safe out there. And then lastly, on the 23rd of this month, there's for those of you who don't know, I'm the incoming vice president for the League of Cities LA division. The installation ceremony for that is on the 23rd at 6 p.m. in Palos Verdes Estates. I always get all those Palos Verdes confused. Jennifer King, who is a council member in Palos Verdes Estates, is going to be getting installed as a new president. And so if things go the way they're programmed to, I should be the incoming vice president, which means that next August, if things go the way they should, I should be the incoming president, which means we in Bellflower will be hosting this event. For those of you who don't know, that the LA division is the largest division for the League of Cities in the state. Represents over 550, I think, elected officials only. So to be the president of this institution is a big honor for our city. We'll announce that next year, but I'm really excited. So if you're available on the 23rd, you're more than invited. Please. Right?
Yeah.
So you can check the sound system.
Right? Please. So that completes my comments. Thank you.
Right.
I'm picking on Len.
That's been great tonight.
All right.
I'm glad he was here to hear all this.
Yeah.
Because he turned around and told me I have a blank check. So
Oh, yes. Yeah, I don't believe that. He would never say that. Mayor Pro Tem Sonny Santana.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been a while since our last regular meeting. Keep in mind that we were dark on the second meeting of July, so a few things happened since then. I think most of us were at the grand opening of the LA County Fire Museum. It was well attended, especially with our county supervisor, Janice Han. And also with the mayor, we attended the grand opening of the dedication of the St. John Bosco Stadium. It's a great field, and what I want to share with staff is that I got good comments from the president and the director that the city worked well with them, especially our planning department. So kudos to our planning department. They said that everything worked well. So thank you. And also I attended the senior fair sponsored by and hosted by Congresswoman Linda Sanchez at City College. There's quite a few residents from Bellflower who took advantage of all the benefits that the government offers. And also last Saturday, as mentioned earlier, I went to the grand opening on behalf of the city, the grand reopening of Baskin-Robbins with School Board President Laura Sanchez Ramirez. So it was a great event, and I invited the owner, Mr. Manny, to come out today tonight so that he can introduce himself to our community. So congratulations to them, and I hope that you will patronize Baskin-Robbins on Woodruff and Alondra. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you. And I'll just say one thing that I was, as Sonny said, I was at the Bosco grand opening, and what I heard, if it wasn't for our building department and what we did for them, they wouldn't open on time. So they made their grand opening because of that. Got us, I can hear crickets. And with that, I'm gonna. I forgot. He was saving the best for last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
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 Get your cheat sheet.
Well, yeah, he's next. And with that, that's all I got to say. And I'm gonna, ask Mr. Coops for his reports.
Okay, so I'm going to ask that we adjourn tonight's meeting in honor of a friend of ours, Frederick Olivier, and he's the father of former Mayor Art Olivier. A little bio on Fred's life. Fred was born on September 21st, 1923 in the small farming town of Chandler, Minnesota, and he passed away on July 18th, 2018 at the age of 94. In 1941, with $20 in his pockets, 18-year-old Fred moved to Bellflower to work on a dairy farm. He served in the Air Force during World War II and was in charge of the motor pool. After the war, Fred earned his high school diploma at night school from Excelsior High School in Norwalk. He met his wife, Charles C. Griffith, in 1952. They married and had 3 children. He built his first family home in Bellflower on Hego Place in Bellflower in 1958. In 1963, he built a concrete block house on Blaine Avenue, and in 1983, he built a house on Eucalyptus Avenue. He started his 55-year career in Bellflower real estate in 1962 and became an officer in the Junior Chamber of Commerce and the Bellflower Realty Board. In year 2000, he bought Cogburn Realty on Artesian Boulevard. He talked about retiring after he sold it to Jerry Miller in 2004, but he never did retire. His desk still stands there today. He is survived by his wife, Charles C., children Vida, Oni, Deanna Olivier, son Art Olivier, 11 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, many nieces and nephews. Our deepest sympathies and heartfelt condolences go out to the entire Olivier family. I talked to Art Olivier here recently, and he indicated that when his dad was 46 years old, he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you got a bad heart, and you probably won't live 4 or 5 more years. And here he says, we always worried about his heart. He lived to be 94 years old. So you can't always believe what the doctor says. And anyway, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Good. With that, a call for an adjournment in the memory of Frederick Oliver to the next regular Bellflower City Council meeting at 5:30 Monday, August 27th, 2018.
Okay.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.